doldrums of December a little bit. Exams for a lot of teams, either this week or next week. Thanksgiving MTEs, that means a bunch of programs kind of take that first chunk of December off, or if they're playing, the competition isn't always the greatest. But that's why Megan and I get paid the big bucks. We plow through it. We find plenty to talk about. We have some fun along the way. Welcome to the latest Gauer Hour. I'm Rob Joyce. She's Megan Gauer. Megan, back in the United States. How was Europe?
Europe was great. I'm not that happy to be home. And now sick, as you could all probably hear, so apologies.
So you were in three very different countries.
Yes.
Favorite thing you did?
Ooh.
And if the answer is a soccer match at Spurs, I'm going to end the show 51 seconds in.
It is not. When we were in London, we went up Big Ben, which I have not done before. I've been to London a couple times, but that was pretty cool. So we got to go in the clock tower and up by the bells and stuff. It was pretty neat.
And I'm sure it's Christmassy too.
Yeah, everything's Christmas.
Cool. Christmas in 13 days. You've been out of the country for the better part of 2 weeks. You got work to catch up on. You got gifts to get, mental health check. Where are we at?
Not great. I have done 0 Christmas shopping, so that's not good considering I have 10 days to figure that out. And work is also a mess, so it's just we also we get between Christmas and New Year's off for work, so I can't really complain because I have to go back to work for a week and a half and then I'm off again. But everything is on fire trying to get wrapped up for year end.
Yeah, our company gets some time off, but college sports still play.
Yes.
So I'll take the extra money. That's fine. We're off to a bad start. I had a bad show last week. Ever have those days where it's you can't get out a full sentence? We was that for an hour. It's fine.
Yeah.
I clicked some stupid AI thing on our doc, and I had to enter the words KK Bransford injury 5 times because AI was here's what we suggest. No, I want to type the words. So we're off to a rousing start today. Not a whole lot went on over the week. However, I want to start with the big game Wednesday, Iowa State. We've seen Iowa play. They beat Baylor, a nice win a month ago. Iowa State to this point played Indiana, Marquette, if you consider Marquette good. But really, this was their first true big test. And boy, they passed it with flying colors on Wednesday.
Yeah, a really nice win for Iowa State. I think we kind of talked about last week. They had beat a bunch of people, but they hadn't had really any big games. So it was this was a good chance to see, is this team for real? And I think we very much saw that. And really on the heels of Audie Crooks and Eddie Brown. This team has been the last couple seasons, but the two of them combined for 50 just between the two of them, which is insane.
Yeah, I always, when teams haven't played anybody, I always want to reserve judgment if they look really, really good, because, lots of teams look good against St. Thomas, Mercyhurst. And to be clear, they played the 2 top 100 teams, Indiana, Marquette. They looked fine. They couldn't really stop Indiana, but they scored 105, so it didn't really matter. But it doesn't take much for me to become a believer. And now I am a believer in the Cyclones, and not in terms of we grade on a scale, right? To be a believer in, we're high on Richmond and Fairfield. We talk about them a lot. I'm high on them in that they can make the tournament. Right. I'm high on certain teams I'm high on North Carolina. That's a second weekend team. Iowa State, I'm now high on as they can get to Phoenix. Are you in that boat?
I don't know if I'm quite there yet. I'm interested to see as they get into Big 12 team play. What do they look against the TCU? I think Iowa's good. But I don't know that I'm sold on this team is going to make it to Phoenix, and it's mostly the defense that trips me up there still.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it's not a secret if you listen to this. I've never been high on Iowa State's defense because they really haven't given me a reason to be high on their defense. Even last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, I basically said, yeah, I'm not impressed by it. I don't think it's ever going to be elite, but it looked really good for stretches on Wednesday, and that's maybe all it needs to be. Held Iowa scoreless for 6 minutes in the second quarter. I don't think they got a clean look in the third quarter. They made the Hawkeyes take tough shots. They made a couple of them. They settled for okay shots late in the shot clock. If they give me 20 very good defensive minutes, I think that's enough more often than not, given how good their offense is. And maybe that's all it needs to be. It doesn't need to be South Carolina elite. Maybe.
Yeah, you're probably right. It probably doesn't need to be elite, because they can score enough. But I guess on the flip side, I wouldn't say that Iowa is a team that has the world's best defense either. And I worry what happens to an Iowa State when you run up against a program like a South Carolina or UConn or Texas, where the defense is actually going to be able to slow you down, and can you slow them down enough on the flip side to keep pace?
Can anyone slow down Audie Crooks?
I don't know. That's a great question. The answer might be no.
Inside, her ability to catch and finish through traffic, the soft hands, the Dirk Nowitzki step back that she had. It's like, geez Louise. We know Addie Brown, she's kind of like Sabrina Ionescu light. Like, she scores, she rebounds, she dishes, she has size, she can shoot. And then how good has Jada Williams been?
Yeah.
7
I think
points.
this has been a great transfer for them.
Yeah, what were you saying? Sorry, I missed it.
Sorry. I don't know what happened there. I was just saying, I think this has been a great addition for the portal for them. Like with the 12 assists, 11 points. Like she's doing exactly what they need her to do. They don't need her to go out there and score 25 points, but her ability to distribute and make sure that Audie Crooks gets the ball is so important.
Right, they replaced Emily Ryan, who was there for 5 years, felt like 10. So that's
right.
A nice missing piece in replacing a staple of that program for a very long time. They have Baylor at home. They have a home and home with Oklahoma State. They're at TCU in February. For now, the only ranked games left on their schedule. West Virginia bounced in and out. Texas Tech might appear at some point. They're on the road in Lubbock. They're at Utah. Moral of this, I don't see many losses here.
Yeah, agreed. I think this is a team that's probably set up well to be going into March with not a lot of losses, which is probably going to lead to them hosting. So they're going to have that advantage early on. Because, yeah, like in reality, out of the Big 12, outside of the TCU, maybe a Baylor, like who's really going to challenge this team? I think it's going to be, or probably not that many teams.
Yeah, and then from the Iowa side, first loss of the year, the sky's not caving in. They had 2 bad quarters. It cost them in a very hostile road game. This is a nasty rivalry, like a fun, nasty rivalry in all sports. And it's great that, I mean, it's always been that way in women's basketball, which you can't necessarily say about some of these other schools and programs that we consider like the best rivalries in college. Very much applies to the Cyhawk. They're still very good, I think. They lost by 5. They made it a game late. Like, I'm not overly concerned about anything.
Agreed. I think overall a pretty close loss. You're on the road, like you said. It's a tough environment. You just get up against a player like Audie Crooks that could go and score 30, and not a big deal for them. I don't think this game changes my opinion of Iowa much at all.
First game all year, Ava Hayden played poorly. 16 minutes, she fouled out. She just never got into it. She had foul trouble the entire time she was on the floor, basically. Some silly fouls, too. You get a pass, right? What do you make of Hannah Stolke? She's a senior now. She's a consistent rebounder, but it seems like I think people expected her to kind of make a leap as a scorer, and it seems like she's just kind of settled into 10 to 13 points a night type of score, which, like, that's certainly not a bad thing. I'm curious your thoughts on her, because I think people were expecting like maybe like All-American, all Big Ten first team type of player, and I'm not quite sure she's that, and that might just lower the ceiling a little bit.
Yeah, I think that was the expectation, because this is really now like her team, right? Like it was Caitlin Clark's team last year. You brought in the big name and Lucy Olson a little bit, but now it's like very clearly I think should have been Hannah Stolke's team this season, and I mean it still is her team. But yeah, her scoring hasn't just stepped to that level. She's doing great on the glass for them. She's playing great, but she's just not a 20-point game scorer. That's okay, but I feel like if she was a 20-point a game scorer, this team would be better than it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very differently structured Iowa team, much more balanced than in years past. So that means the production, I think, has to be more balanced, right? Chit-Chat Wright took 14 shots on Wednesday. That was a low number for Caitlin Clark. That's less than the average of Lucy Olson last year. She was really, really good on Wednesday. The only reason the Hawkeyes, I think, didn't get run out of the building, but 14 shots is the most she's taken in a game this year. Tied for the most she's ever taken in a game. Go back to last year at Georgia Tech. My point is, like, it's great that she looked like the best player on the floor for stretches, but that isn't enough for Iowa, because their MO isn't, well, we have one superstar guard now, and that's enough. Like, they need Chit-Chat to play well. They also need Ava Hayden to play well. They also need Hannah Stolke to play well, more so than they have in the past few years. So now, yeah, if Stolke is going to, not be a huge scorer, or if Ava Hayden's going to have an off day, yeah, they just can't rely on, hey, Caitlin Clark or Lucy Olson, go get 30.
Right.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, they don't have that player this year, so it has to look different.
Chit-Chat looked really good, though.
Yeah,
She's
she
going to be
did.
fun.
She did.
Next
She
couple
could
years.
be that player, but yeah.
That was really the only game during the midweek. Illinois, Missouri on Wednesday was kind of entertaining. The Illini, I think, are quietly having a very nice year. What are we getting next bracketology, by the way?
Hopefully sometime this weekend, assuming this cold doesn't take me out. It's time. I don't like to do it until we get a net ranking because I despise trying to do bracketology without net rankings. I think it's a waste of time. But now that we have the net, I don't really have an excuse, so I do need to do one this weekend.
Illinois is 35th. They're 9-1. They're not ranked. They probably are close to. I don't check the others receiving votes. They received one singular vote last week. I feel like that should change. They're 9-1. They don't have any like marquee wins, but Florida State, they blew out Indiana by 21. At Missouri, not a murderer's row, but a couple of blowouts, a nice road win. Barry Wallace has filled the void of Kendall Bostic very, very well. 17 points a game, nearly double from last year. She's doubled her rebounding from last year. They make their free throws. They're 5th in the country. They don't turn it over. They're top 15 in protecting the basketball. They don't give up second shots. They're top 15 in defensive rebounding rate. If you get stops, don't turn it over and make your free throws. You have my heart. You're going to win a lot of games. So yeah, I like this Illinois team.
Yeah, no, I think they've had a great start, and I'm really interested to see what they look like as we get into Big Ten play here. I think we've talked about how like there's very clear like top couple or top one team really now in the Big Ten, in UCLA, but beyond that, like I think there's a lot of room for someone to quietly like sneak in and emerge. So I'm interested to see if that can be Illinois.
I think the ceiling's been raised maybe not because I guess if you look at the numbers, I'm sure they're similar to last year. But like UCLA is obviously at the top. Michigan
Right.
has put themselves there. We're going to talk about Maryland in a second because they had a wild week, some highs and a big low. But like Minnesota looked like they could be pretty good. Nebraska is off to a really, really good start. Right. Illinois is off to a good start. Oregon just lost their first game, but they're off to a nice start. I feel like Michigan State is ranked.
Yeah.
Right? We haven't talked about them because I don't think they've played too many teams. I'm sure I'm missing 2 other Big Ten teams off the top of my head.
USC,
Big Ten's really, really deep.
Yeah.
Really deep. Even like Wisconsin is getting some people.
Yeah.
It's a new age. Robin Pinchton's doing a nice job. Speaking of, we just talked Missouri. Robin Pinchton out. Wisconsin, good start. They had a nice win this week. Let's talk Maryland, though. First of all, obscene game with Minnesota. Like, absurd. Wild. How the heck did they win that game? Since then, though, Kayleen Smeichel undergoing knee surgery. She's out for the year. Second starter that Maryland has lost for the year with Leah Bartelma. What does this do for their ceiling, having lost their second leading scorer and someone who was obviously a huge piece last year as well?
I think it takes it down. It's an unfortunate, but the reality is like they are not the same team without her on the floor. It's early, so like there's a lot of time to adjust to it and find their footing, but I just think we were looking at a Maryland team that was off to a really, really good start. Like they were looking like a top 10 team. They were looking the part, and this is just a huge blow to that where they were at.
I mean, Smeichel she's a bucket getter.
Yeah.
That, elite teams sometimes just need someone who can say, give me the ball and get out of the way. And she was never really healthy when she played this year, and she still averaged 14 a game because she missed the first couple of weeks, and then I think they just decided this is too much. Like they still have a very good starting 5: Okanawa, Poffenbarger, Addie Mack, Yarden Garzone, and now Ozzy Mamadou I think slides in. Heck, they missed a bunch of players on Wednesday, and they allowed like 20 points to Delaware State. They're still a very good team, but now like their depth is largely not there until I think Bree McDaniel will eventually come back. But now you're talking. Can Kendall Walker do more? Can Mir McLean do more? Can Maria Boyko do more? Because like 3 or 4 points a game probably won't cut it anymore. Like there's so much depth in the Big Ten, as they found out Sunday at Minnesota. That depth will be tested for reasons outside of their control, but it doesn't have to be Mir McLean every single game. Like one of these, 8-10 minute per game players needs to be more than that now.
Right. Yeah, they're just gonna need people to step up. That's the unfortunate side of this injury is like they've just lost such a huge piece of their scoring and just their leadership too, right? Like Smeichel has been on this team for multiple seasons. She's someone they're gonna count on down the stretch in these games, and now she's no longer on the floor. So that's gonna get tested as they get into Big Ten play here, and it's just, I mean, it sucks for them, right? It's a blow. You're talking about a Maryland team that, like you were talking about, okay, yeah, UCLA's the best team in the Big Ten, but like Michigan and Maryland are right there, and it kind of just pulls them out of that top group most likely.
Yeah, I also pulled up the AP rankings. I forgot to mention the words Iowa, USC, and Washington in there too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're in Ohio State for that matter. Who they got tested early from Northern Kentucky, ultimately won in a blowout. Another injury. We don't know the extent of it yet. KK Bransford. It looked bad. It sounded bad based on the screaming. But then Neil Ivey last night, I'm trying to pull up the quote, basically said it looks okay. We're just praying for the best, but it sounds like it's going to be good. If KK Bransford is out for any significant period of time, obviously Notre Dame is not exactly the deepest team in the world. Obviously that'd be a problem if she was out for, I don't expect her to play like this weekend, but more than a couple of weeks. Probably a bad sign.
Yeah, I think we're just talking about a Notre Dame team that already has so little depth beyond like Hannah Hidalgo, and Kiki Bransford is a big piece of what they have beyond Hidalgo, and to lose her right now would really hurt this team.
Yeah, don't know the extent of it though, so hopefully she's okay, and it's a minor issue or a non-issue. A couple of quick shout-outs. So Fairfield beat up Richmond with 1 billion threes on Sunday. Didn't necessarily see that. Preceded by the Stags losing to a pretty good Howard team. The Bison, the MEAC favorites, they won 22 games last year. So some mid-major on mid-major crime. Howard's a good team. I feel like that's a loss that Fairfield doesn't have a whole lot of wiggle room for. Am I wrong?
Yeah, not a great one for sure. Like, it's kind of just like one of those ones you don't want to lose because it's certainly not helping you. I think the win over Richmond is a nice counter to it though. Like, if you lost the Howard game and then lost to Richmond, I think they would have been in a much more difficult spot than, okay, you come out and have a really big win over Richmond right after that, and hopefully probably cancels it out. Like, I think they still likely end up with a shot at an at-large with that Richmond win.
Quick shout out to Bryant, beat Boston College on Tuesday. What the hell is happening in Chestnut Hill? Their women's basketball team's a disaster. They're 4-9, losses to Holy Cross, Providence, UMass, Murray State, Quinnipiac. Good Quinnipiac team, but still. And Bryant, men's basketball, a disaster.
I was like,
their football team's a disaster. Hockey's pretty good.
Yeah.
But, like, what is happening? All that ACC money. What are you doing? And then some good teams are off to excellent starts. Arizona State. They're 11-0, best start in program history. Yeah, they're beating up on largely a bunch of bad teams. They did have a road win at Penn State on Tuesday. But considering their win totals the last 5 years, read 10, 11, 8, 12, and 12, I will gladly take 11-0. Molly Miller's got that thing humming quickly.
Yeah, agreed. I think when you're starting from something like that where it's 10 wins a season, like just getting 11 wins before conference play starts is a really big victory. I don't care who they're over.
I mean, this is a program that like used to be tournament mainstays, second weekend mainstays.
Yeah.
They were a 3 seed not that long ago. So it seems like she's going to have them back in a Big 12 that you have TCU, who looks like they're going to be competitive every year. Iowa State's good every year. Baylor's good every year. Oklahoma State's on the rise, but like there are chances in the Big 12 to climb into that upper echelon in the conference. And then Alabama, we talked about them in the first show of a team that's in a rebuild year, seemed to be. Lost Sarah Ashley Barker, lost Aaliyah Nye, 2 WNBA players. SEC play might prove it still could be, but they're 10-0. Wins over Harvard, Minnesota, Clemson. Again, not a bunch of like Final Four teams, but I didn't think they'd be 10-0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, a Harvard win is a good win. A Minnesota win is a good win. Like, those are not bad wins. Obviously, when they get into SEC play, SEC is going to be tough, but no, it's a good start for Alabama.
Yeah. Which brings me to a question, because you mentioned the difficulty of the SEC. By the way, Ole Miss lost to, who they lose to? Someone. K-State. Explain K-State to me.
I don't
They beat Ole Miss on Sunday. They followed it with a loss to San Diego State. I have they're like 5-5 with a couple of decent wins, couple of okay losses, and a couple of losses. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I got nothing.
It's a bad loss for Ole Miss, though. Like, that's just not. I don't
I
know.
don't.
Yeah.
I liked the comeback against Notre Dame. I wonder how much truth was it to the first half of Notre Dame?
Yeah.
I don't think right now they're that good. Like what were they ranked? 13th going into that game? They're not
I
one
think
of the.
so. No,
They're
not a top
17th
15
now.
team. Yeah.
I can't see them being a top 20 team right now. They're probably not too far beyond that, but like I'm starting to get. I try to hype up Cody McMahon. I don't think it's ever gonna, in terms of like, obviously she's a very talented, probably all conference caliber player. We talk about her like she's an All-American, and at this point, it's
Right.
never been consistent, and it's been years now of us saying this. So it might not. She might not be like a National Player of the Year caliber person, and that's fine. I'm just tired of kind of waiting for that to happen.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like kind of everyone since like that UConn game where Ohio State beat UConn in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Her freshman year has been like waiting for it to be like Cody McMahon All-American consistently, and it just has never happened. And at this point, it's probably been too many seasons. Like it's probably just not going to happen. Which is fine. She's still a really good player. It's just she's not at that level.
I'm curious how SEC play goes for Ole Miss because there are no nights off in the Big Ten. The middle bottom of the SEC isn't as deep as the Big Ten, but boy, the top is a deep top. But yeah, but K-State, back to K-State. I could see them being like 11th in the Big 12, and they beat Iowa State and like West Virginia, and then they lose to like Houston.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
This team has that written all over it. It's going to be like Oklahoma State last year. Like they would beat a TCU and then lose to who they lost to. That was like really bad last year, but all over the place.
Yeah, I like that comp. Probably not as good, but
right.
yeah, I don't hate that comp. Here's a question, since I just said the words Iowa State. Right now, it's December 12th. How big is your list of teams who can realistically win it all? Because I think we're starting to get to the point now. Teams like 15 and below can lose to a K-State.
Yeah.
Like a average middle of the road, maybe a bubble team, maybe not a tournament, like a WNIT team. Like they could lose on the right night. I still don't think that's the case 10 and above, 12 and above. So I'll kind of flip that into those types of teams are winning national championships, making it to Final Fours. How big is your list right now that you've seen pretty much all of these teams at least play somebody, if not multiple somebodies?
Yeah, to me, there's like a outside of LSU that hasn't really played anyone, so like I'm still a little on the fence about them, but like I think there's a clear, I'll call it a top 5, and I'll play LSU in there for now, and that's UConn, Texas, South Carolina, UCLA, LSU. Like I think it's a very clear top 5. Any of those teams could go win a national championship. But then the other teams that I'm probably including in that group right now is Michigan for sure. Like I think I was skeptical going into the season, but I think they've proven that they are very much ready and a part of that group. And then I'd also throw TCU and Oklahoma in there as well. So that's 8 in total. I think that's my list. And I wouldn't like fully count Iowa State out yet, but I need to see more.
90, I think, like you play this out 100 times. One of last year's Final Four teams wins it.
Yeah.
Right? Like feel pretty firm. If I told myself LSU won it all, I wouldn't laugh.
Right.
Same goes for Michigan, TCU, Iowa State. If you told me Oklahoma won it all, I'd pause. But I don't I see there's a realistic path to that happening. So I'll include them. Anyone else, like if you told me, especially with the injuries, like Maryland wins it all, I don't see it. Like North Carolina. I like North Carolina a lot. I don't see it. Just, yeah. So the list is for me, what's that, 4, 6, 9 teams? And really, if you made me narrow it down, it's probably 5.
Yeah.
Welcome to the world of. I mean, we see it more on the men's side now too. Like one of the cons of the portal for everyone else is the haves versus the have-nots. Like last year, we saw 1 seeds. This year, there appears to be like 4, 5 really, really good teams on the men's side, and It's everyone else. Like the women's game's kind of been like that for forever as the talent pool continues to grow. It's shrinking a little bit, but this looks a lot more like men's basketball, which isn't, depending on how you look at the portal and all this, like, isn't a terrible thing. But yeah, they're very clearly still like I see there's so much parity. There's growing parity, but like South Carolina, if South Carolina has a competitive game with the 23rd ranked team of the country, we kind of go like, oh, like Louisville.
Yeah.
oh, what's happening? Like, it's supposed to be a competitive game. They're both ranked.
Right.
All right, let's move on. There again, like not a whole lot happened. Weekend was exciting, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And next week is better. We had one ranked on ranked game this week on Wednesday with Iowa State. We have a bunch this weekend. We'll start tomorrow. 2 games that are entertaining. We'll start with the quote unquote big one. USC hosting UConn. Trojans won last year in Hartford. Obviously, the Huskies won in the Elite Eight without Juju. Now UConn makes the return trip out west. Trojans have played a number of good teams. South Carolina, they played NC State. I feel like I'm missing one.
Notre Dame. Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Notre Dame. Obviously, very, very another big test for the Trojans here.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, it's a big test, right? Like, this is the number 1 ranked team in the country. Like, winning national championship is a huge test for USC. But on the flip side for UConn, I also think it's like the first time this team has actually had to play on the road, right? Like, they haven't played they played on the road, I think, but like not in a big road game like this where like it's going to be probably packed. It's going to be a hostile crowd. So I'm interested I'm interested to see like how UConn responds to that and being in that environment. Like, they played one other big game really so far against Michigan at Mohegan. So it was a very pro UConn crowd. So now this is the flip side of that experience. And I'm interested to see how this team responds to that. But you've got players that obviously have been in that environment before. They're not that young.
Right. The road games were Xavier and USF.
Yeah.
I think that's it. So yeah, certainly the biggest test. Give me your thoughts on Sarah Williams. I feel like this should be a Sarah Williams game because USC's front court isn't the best.
Yeah.
And you would think this is an opportunity for her to take advantage. It hasn't really fit to this point, but they also haven't really needed it to. They haven't had to force the issue. UConn should dominate this game inside, and Williams, I feel like, is a big part of that. But to this point, I don't know what your expectations for her was. I feel like she hasn't quite met what we expected.
No, I kind of thought she would come in and be a big impact for this team, and not that she hasn't made any impact, but she just like, it was kind of like you kind of thought she had the talent to come in and it'd be like, okay, yes, like this is AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong's team, but like Sarah Williams could be the very obvious third option. And I don't think we've really seen that yet. I mean, it's still early. It takes time to adjust. Obviously, this is a very different system than what she was playing in Wisconsin. But I would be interested to see it in like a game like this where there's not a ton of front court. Can they just like try to get her the ball more and force the issue a little bit? Because it feels like if she just has like 1 or 2 big games, like maybe she'll figure it out. But right now, like it hasn't quite showed up on the court yet. I think what UConn is hoping to get out of her.
The good news is there's lots of time. Basically, they're just tuning up for March on December 12th because at USC, they're in Brooklyn. They have a decent week. At USC, they host Marquette, and then they're in Brooklyn to take on Iowa. So 9 days from now, once they get through that, they play Notre Dame at home. They get Tennessee at home, and the rest is just Big East opponents.
Yes.
Are they running the table?
I'm going to go with yes.
Not necessarily NCAA tournament, but like they're going into the tournament undefeated.
Yeah. I think barring something happening like this weekend or Tennessee like hitting 500 threes in that game, like probably going into the tournament undefeated, which isn't necessarily a great thing. Yeah.
Right. We've seen it before in the good way for the Huskies, and we've seen them lose in the Final Four as undefeated teams a number of times. From the USC side, one, I mean, they need to just not get killed inside. They were out-rebounded by 14 by NC State. They got away with it. 24 to South Carolina. They were out-rebounded at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's not a good front court.
Yeah.
And then even like 3 versus Pepperdine, they were out-rebounded. They don't have to they just have to keep it even. I think,
Right.
and that'd be pro advantage USC. And then the other, my biggest critique of Jazzy, all of 9 games into her collegiate career, they've already played 4 top 40 opponents. Those 4 games, Washington on Sunday was the only one where she was above 40% shooting. Just hasn't been efficient. So that's one of these big games. She's going to have to go instead of 8 of 22. It's going to have to be like 12 of 22.
Right.
And then in these big games, it's been generally Jazzy and one other person. NC State, it was London Jones. Well, London Jones didn't score against Notre Dame, but Cara Dunn had 21 points. Kennedy Smith was the only other one besides Jazzy in double figures against Washington. Against South Carolina, Smith and Jazzy were the leading scorers, and Smith had a whopping 12. Need more consistent scoring from your Kennedy Smiths, your Cara Dunns, your London Jones, because it can't just be Jazzy and 1 against UConn. It needs to be Jazzy and 3 or 4 against UConn.
Yeah, that's what this team needs to be. A team like UConn or like a UCLA as they get into conference play, like they're gonna need 3, 4 people on the floor that are putting up points and are scoring, especially because like when you start playing teams like that, like they're gonna try to take away Jazzy, right? Like they know what Jazzy's gonna do. They're gonna try to take that away. And she's still gonna get hers, but you need other players that are gonna be able to step up around her and knock down shots.
I understand television and how it works because last year on the East Coast was an 8 o'clock tip for Paige and Juju. This year, again, the star power isn't quite there, but they're on the West Coast and the game's at 5:30 Eastern. I feel like you should just time zones. That's okay. The other big game Saturday, Oklahoma City. So it's a neutral game for Oklahoma State. I'm expecting this to maybe be the game of the weekend. I'm very excited about this game. There should be a lot of points.
Yeah, a lot of scoring to come. No, this one will be fun. I think, obviously, like we've seen Oklahoma tested a couple of times. This will be another test for them, and I'm just excited to see what Oklahoma State looks like against a team of this caliber.
Yes, these are 2 of the top 5 scoring offenses of the country. Neither one is top 60 in scoring defense. So I don't know what the over-under is, but it should be, I don't know, what's 85, what's 170. Should be probably the over-under because someone's getting to neither one is being held under 85. Cowgirls near the top nationally in a lot of categories. The caveat here is the strength of schedule. Like they just put up 130 some odd points on, respectfully, 1-7 Mississippi Valley State. Her hoop stats actually has the Cowgirls ever so slightly favored on a neutral floor.
Huh.
Did that update? I don't think either one played, so I don't imagine that would change.
Yeah.
Let me hit the old refresh. Oh, now I can't find it. Oh, yeah. Ooh, well, the computers have changed. Now Oklahoma favored by a little less than a point. Either way, basically, it seems like a coin flip game in the computers.
Yeah.
I think Oklahoma is the better team, and they're more balanced. They have obviously the ability to beat you. Like Reagan Beers can explode in the front court. Leah Chavez, Peyton Verhulst can explode in the back court. Oklahoma State fairly reliant on 3-point makes. To this point, they lead the country in makes. They're top 5 in attempts. They are second nationally in 2-point percentage. Again, all of this is the caliber of competition. The point is both these teams can score. I don't really trust either of these teams to stop anyone good. Makes for a fun game. I'm also high on the Cowgirls in general. Here's a chance to validate my high hopes on a national stage against a top 10 team. That'd be a heck of a win.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm interested to see what they look like against Oklahoma. Even if they don't win, like, can they just keep close? Is it like if it's a super competitive game, which I think it will be? I think this is going to be a really fun one, and I'm just interested to see, like you said, like what Oklahoma State looks like against this type of competition.
Yeah, this is a very balanced Oklahoma State team. They have 7 right now, averaging in double figures. South Dakota State transfer Haley Timmer, she leads the team. Micah Gray second on the team. Staley Hurd might be their most well-known player, maybe their best player still. She's 7th on the team in scoring at over 11 points a game. So just they're spreading the wealth around against an Oklahoma team that also has the ability to have depth. Not quite 7 in double figures, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. That is a midday game tomorrow. I don't have the scoreboard pulled up. Don't tell me it's the same time as
that would suck.
They will over. Well, you're not going to watch the start of UConn USC because that's at 5:30 Eastern and Bedlam's at 4. So you're gonna miss the first quarter. Because one's on ESPNU, one's on Fox.
I know.
So 2 fun games Saturday. Actually, here's a third one Saturday. I just saw Washington, Green Bay.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Green Bay's one of those teams that they make the tournament more often than not. They're always like a 12 seed, and they're just not a fun 12 seed to play. Lost at Wisconsin by 4, beat K-State, hung around with NC State, lost fairly significantly to Richmond, and beaten everyone else. But yeah, they're a team that they hit a bunch of threes. Washington could get tested. And then Sunday, old school Big 12, Texas Baylor.
Yes, this should be fun.
I still don't know what to make of Baylor. I feel like this is a good chance to see how good Baylor is.
Agreed. I think Texas is a great measuring stick there for Baylor, and I kind of expect that we're going to see that Texas just keeps humming like they have so far this season in this one. But I'm interested to see can Baylor put up a fight here and keep it close.
I think Texas ultimately wins probably by 10 or 15. For that to not happen, Baylor needs to keep the Longhorns to one and done. They get 70% of their defensive rebounds. That's middle of the pack nationally. Texas obviously very, very, very good on the offensive glass. If they give up like 15 or 20 offensive rebounds, they're toast. If they give it like 8 or 10, they got a shot. Can Talia Scott handle 94 feet of pressure she's going to get from Rory Harmon? She's probably never seen quite this level. And then Baylor has played 4 top 100 opponents: Duke, UNLV, Iowa, Davidson. They're 3-1 in those games. They're shooting 26% from 3. Can Scott, Bella Fauntleroy, Jana Van Geitenbeek, can they be impactful from beyond the arc? Because we know Texas isn't going to make a ton. But if the Longhorns make 5 and the Lady Bears make 5, very, very big advantage Texas.
Yeah.
Those are my keys.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think they have to make Texas is going to make it difficult to go inside too. So you've got to find a way to get some points from the perimeter. So yeah, 3-point shooting is going to be big here. And then just could you score enough to keep up with Texas? Because I feel like when they played Duke, right, they only hit 58. The Iowa game only 52 in the loss. So some of these kind of bigger games so far, they've just really struggled to score the basketball, and that's just not going to cut it against Texas team.
They beat Duke in the opener. The Blue Devils, I know that's been a disastrous start. They're not that bad. UNLV is a very good mid-major. It was on the road. They found a way. They lost a close game with Iowa on a neutral floor. Nearly lost. Davidson's a pretty good team. Davidson's like top 75 good. They're actually top 50 in their hoop stats rankings. They beat up on a bunch of bad teams since. I guess my question, they're ranked 13th. Are they the 13th best team in the country? I don't know. They might be, but I don't really know what to make. I 13 might be too low. We find out come Sunday. I have no idea.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of talked about earlier, there's kind of a very clear top 8, 9, but then the 9 through 20 range is all just a jumble to me. I don't really know who's the best of that group yet.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then another game Sunday. We got real conference play. I know I joked about the Big 12. This is a real, actual conference game. UNC Louisville. Not really a hot take, but North Carolina, I think, is head and shoulders the best team in the ACC right now. Louisville, I think, is the only challenger. And yes, I know Notre Dame is ranked. I don't see Notre Dame there right now. Big word from someone. I don't think it's a secret. I have not been high on the Tar Heels in years past. Now, I think this is a chance on Sunday, December 14th, to send a message to the rest of the ACC. Yeah, we're the best team. And it might not be close.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like these are possibly the 2 best teams in the ACC. So a heck of a way to start out conference play. But I'm excited for this matchup. I think it's going to be really interesting. But I agree with you. I think it's probably UNC is the best team. But I think Louisville has slowly been getting better game by game as it kind of happens with a team that's just so new like this team is. So I'm interested to see what this matchup looks like.
I agree with that. If they played UConn again, I know the final margin was 13 or whatever. It was a 20-point game for 35 minutes. I think if you play them again, I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
I think what's missing from Louisville is that win. They lost to UConn handily. They lost to Kentucky by 10. They had South Carolina. They had them on the ropes. Let them off the hook. They play North Carolina and Tennessee in the next 8 days. It feels like once they get one of these, may not be Sunday, if they beat North Carolina or if they beat Tennessee, I feel like that's all they need. It's just that last 5%, and then like that rocket ship is ascending.
Yeah, agreed. I think this is the team that once they get one is going to start humming, and no one's really going to want to see them. But I kind of feels like this is like one of those ACC games that really matters because it could be kind of one of the things that decides who wins the regular season when we get there.
Right, which is crazy to say in December.
Right.
But, I mean, they're so big that you don't play everyone twice. Yeah. They do not play again. I don't know how the schedule works because there's 18 ACC teams and 20 games, so you're playing a couple of teams twice. I assume North Carolina is always going to play Duke twice. They're probably going to play NC State twice more years. I don't know. Everything's made up.
Yeah.
Point is, yes, you sometimes only get one shot at this. Here's your shot for UNC to send a statement. Here's a chance for Louisville, frankly, to send a statement.
Right.
Because the rest of the ACC, like there aren't too many quote unquote statement games there right now.
Yeah.
And while we're in the ACC, this is a non-conference game. Notre Dame, don't go to JMU on Sunday and get got, because that very well could happen. And not in a Notre Dame's bad way. This is a JMU's a good team.
Right. Yeah, this is not an easy non-conference game. JMU, one of those teams that just like consistently tends to make the tournament, sits in that 12 seed spot. No one wants to see them. But yeah, worth keeping an eye on this one for sure.
Yeah, credit to Neil Abbey for scheduling the game. JMU didn't make the tournament last year because they had one bad half in the Sun Belt title game.
Yes.
And then they were like 30-5 or something. And they tried to make a case on social media. Like they weren't in the conversation. Here's a chance to bolster your resume. Yeah. Only losses to Mason, who was tournament team last year. Villanova might be around the bubble, hanging around, right?
Yeah. I'd say they're a bubble team right now.
And then at Texas, they beat up on much improved Wisconsin, Virginia Tech, and most recently a pretty good VCU team. This is a team who their top 3 scorers are upper class. In 2025, JMU, mid-major, where good players go somewhere else. Their top 3 scorers are upperclassmen who've spent their entire careers in Harrisonburg. Don't go to Harrisonburg and lose on Sunday, Notre Dame. Just putting you on alert, because if you're not ready, you will lose.
Yeah.
And again, not a Notre Dame's a bad team. Like JMU is a very, very good team. Going back to, there's a reason Kenny Brooks is one of the highest paid coaches in the sport. He knows what he's doing, and he started that thing. Monday, Jesus, USF schedule. This is wild, right? They're going to Vandy Monday. They host South Carolina on Thursday. They've played UConn. They've played Duke. They've played UCLA. They've played Fairfield. Dang.
Yeah, it's a tough.
They're going to be ready for the American.
Yeah. This is a team that is going to be very prepared for conference play and very prepared when they get to the conference tournament to try to. I don't know that they're getting in without that, but they're going to be very prepared.
I mean, they're probably going to be. They're probably going to be 6-6 when we chat next Thursday with losses to Fairfield, which is probably the worst loss, UCLA, Minnesota, UConn, Vandy, and South Carolina, and wins over Duke and Harvard.
Yeah.
Credit Jose Fernandez for scheduling the way he did before he left. Because man, now same thing applies for Vandy, as I just said for Notre Dame.
Right.
This one's at home. They're off to a very, very good start. You and I had a lot of questions in the preseason about Vandy. I feel like to this point they've answered them largely with flying colors. Already 3 quad 2 wins. Just don't get tripped up because you see USF's record. This is a pretty good team.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on I don't know how much you've seen of Vandy, but it seems like you and I were, basically saying it's Michaela Blake's and who else, and to this point, like they've answered those.
Yeah, I think it's been more balanced than I expected it to be. Obviously, I had a lot of concerns like with them losing Camille Pierre and just some of the other pieces from last year. Like, how is this team going to go? But they've looked good so far. Obviously, it'll be a different story as they get into the SEC and really get tested. But I've been impressed so far.
And I thought it was quad 1 win. No, that's home wins. Still, yeah, I'm with you on Vandy. And then Thursday. Again, it's not the greatest week in the world. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Especially Thursday is normally a big night for hoops, and it will be once conference play starts. But for now, Duke hosts South Dakota State. Blue Devils went on the road last year and got tested. This is the return trip. I think this is a litmus test for the Blue Devils. The Jackrabbits are good enough to win a game of this caliber. They won 30 games last year. Their leading scorer, Brooklyn Meyer, is back. But I don't think they're as good as last year, South Dakota State. This is a game. If Duke is a quality NCAA tournament team, I think they win this game at home with relative comfort. and I'm questioning if that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think if Duke loses this game, you have to actually start seriously asking if this is a tournament team. Like, I know that's a bold thing to say on December 12th, but like if they can't find a way to win this game, like it's starting to become questionable. Like, where are they going to get the quality wins? Because if you're not going to go into the ACC play, and if you're not going to be able to beat a UNC, a Louisville, and a Notre Dame, just like where are you going to pick up these wins to make up for the number of losses that they're going to enter conference play with?
Yeah, I think Duke will ultimately win. I'm not
Yeah.
overly concerned. I feel like there's a low key significant amount of pressure to win this type of game, because the average fan may not know how good South Dakota State is, and they're going to go, "What do you mean they lost to South Dakota State?" This is a losable game for a team that its margin for error isn't like, it's probably there. It's not that big of a margin.
Yeah, exactly. This is a really good South Dakota State team, and then, like as you said, maybe not as good as last year, but they're still good. In a vacuum, it's not a bad loss. But it's just like a win that Duke needs, and they should get it right. Like I think they've shown some strides in the last few weeks of just looking the part a little bit more. And this is at
Yeah.
home. You've got to be able to get to that win.
Yes. All right. Well, welcome to the world of December. There aren't the there's some decent games, just the quantity of depth
Yeah.
isn't there, as again, it's exam week. You play a loaded, like you play in an MT around Thanksgiving. You just kind of take December. You wait for, there's like some conference outliers. There are conference games this weekend outside of the ones we talked about, if you're interested in that. Nothing that jumps off the page, but this is like the slow time of year. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there. All right. Brings us to our weekly segment of Megan and I are drafting teams. This week, we're just going in ABC order. There's no fancy order of the schools chosen here. We're getting to South Carolina. This will be, in theory, I thought this would be a lot more recent than looking this up than, well, you know me, I like my history. But there are more pre-Dawn Staley era players than I maybe would have thought. Which, let's do technology again. That's share. Here we go. We're thriving. We are thriving. Chrome tab. All right. This is a very consequential coin flip, Megan Gauer.
Yes.
Heads or tails?
I'll go with heads.
Google says. Let's go. All right. Well, we're going to put 10 minutes on the clock. I'm going to use all. I'm kidding. Let's see. Who should I pick from South Carolina? Maybe the greatest player to ever walk the face of the earth. I'll go with Asia. Wait, I have to pull up my document. Yeah, the person who, if she's not already, she will be in like 2 more years. Asia Wilson, my number 1 pick. You have picks 2 and 3.
Yeah, no brainer on the first pick here. All right, so for 2 and 3, I'm going to go with Asia Wilson's successor in Aaliyah Boston. And then follow that up with the Alicia Gray from the 2017 championship team.
Oh, I like that. Alicia Gray. Okay. Boy, that's a bad job by me. I had completely. I wrote her down and then just forgot to do any sort of referencing with that. And then I would have completely forgotten her. Tiffany Mitchell, 2-time first ever SEC Player of the Year at South Carolina. Helped lead the team to their first Final Four on teams with Asia Wilson. Give me Tiffany Mitchell, and I have a guard, I have a forward. Give me, I have to pick an old-time player, right? Her number's retired. The first female athlete in South Carolina to get her number retired. Sheila Foster, second all-time in scoring, second all-time in rebounding. Technically, on South Carolina's first, it wasn't the Final Four in the AIW days. They made the national semis in 1980. Her number's retired. That's good enough for me. Give me Sheila Foster. You have the next 2 picks. Okay. You'd think I figured this out. We're week whatever of this.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Elena Coates, also from that 2017 national championship team, first national championship, with the next one. And then after that, I'm going to go.
Point out your entire team starts with the letter A.
Yeah. I'm gonna break that now. I don't know that there's really any A's left to pick. I'm gonna go Destiny Henderson because she was just such a big part of that championship win in what was it? 20. I'm blanking
22.
on the year. 22. Yes, thank you.
20 LSU in 23. Yeah, 22.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, she had 26 in her final game against UConn. She had 18 in the Final Four the year before against Stanford. Yeah, big game player. I like that. Oh, you got one more. No, you don't. I lied. Yeah. Atlanta Coach. Give me Pee Wee Johnson. She averaged 20 points a game her last 3 years on campus. Most 20-point games in school history by a country mile. Most 30-point games in school history by a mile. Her numbers retired. Again, if your numbers retired, don't know how to make a case for me. So give me Shannon Johnson, and then you're going to take one of these two, and I'm going to be mad about it. Give me... Need a little more. Give me Ty Harris. All-American in 2020, all-time assist leader. Won one natty as a freshman. She might have won a second. We'll never know. I think Oregon was the best team, but South Carolina certainly had. I think they were the number one team when the world shut down. So yeah, give me Ty Harris. Did I only pick one? No, I lied.
No, you picked two.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I am gonna go this next one with Camila Cardoso, big part of the next national championship team, the latest national, or sorry, not the latest national championship team.
That's what I was wavering with. It was her.
Yeah, I figured.
And then you get one more.
One more. It's my last one, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is just more of a personal pick, but I always loved Brea Beal's defense when she was at South Carolina, so I'm gonna go Brea Beal.
I mean, this is your reserve. I like Brea Beal coming off the bench, just wreak some havoc, shut down. Like, man, Pee Wee Johnson's off to a good start on my team. Bringing Brea Beal. I'm like, nah, we're done here. With that. All right, my last pick. Give me. I need some size, so I will take Jocelyn Penn, pre-dawn, All-American in 03, 1,900 points, 800 rebounds. There are more pre-dawn. There's more pre-dawn talent at South Carolina than I think people realized. I expected this to be basically just a list of national championship teams, which it kind of is, but yeah, South Carolina has. It wasn't a rich history per se, but they do have history pre-dawn. So Megan's team: Aaliyah Boston, Alicia Gray, Elena Coach, Destiny Henderson, Camila Cardoso, and Brea Beal. I never wrote down. Who did I just pick? Oh, Christ almighty. Jocelyn Penn. Asia Wilson, Tiffany Mitchell, Sheila Foster, Shannon Johnson, Ty Harris, and Jocelyn Penn. All right. Next week, we will do what's after? Stanford. Again, we're just going in order. So we have a couple weeks left of this. Socials. X, whatever the hell it's called. At Her Hoop Stats. At CS Now Tweets. Instagram. At College Sports Now IG. At Her Hoop Stats. We'll post this. We'll post the links to the episode. Some clips out there. Feel free to interact. Megan, welcome back home.
Thank you.
Get yourself some emergency.
Yes.
Drink some hot tea. Get your Christmas shopping done.
Yeah.
And we'll do it again next week.